fuck? Hey viewers, this is KBL Media Men. Oh wait, should I say KBL? Hey viewers, this is the Media Men. Hey viewers, this is the Media Men. I'm Keegan.
Hi, I'm Ben.
And I'm Lucas.
And this is for all those shows that you need a drink after you watch.
Warning, this video may or may not contain spoilers.
It definitely will. It'll contain spoilers. 100%.
Maybe.
Season 5, Game of Thrones. How did we all feel about that?
Well, you can watch the last 4 episodes, and then you get the gist of it.
Yeah, well,
It did start pretty slow.
It was like molasses slow, like a snail in molasses.
Is molasses that slow?
We got Jon Snow sailing away like a captain and looking at the White Walkers. And shit was crazy, guys.
He did a little more than look at him.
Yeah, the White Walker definitely looked at him like Jon Snow's super important in some way.
Yeah.
Because he was just
Which made
staring
you
him
think
down.
he's not going...
But
I don't think he's dead. I'm gonna, bandwagon with everyone that I've heard ever and say, Red Lady is bringing him back.
Or he'll be brought back as a walker.
And leave
But
it.
I think the Red Lady's the most likely, since you saw the episode, she was strolled right into the Night's Watch. We've already seen that the God of Light can raise people from the dead.
We have,
More than once?
and I think that's actually why they set that up, however many seasons ago that was.
Well, I know in the first book, I think, there's like a mystery of Jon Snow's parents. So
is
if he
true.
were to just die now, that would make that totally inconsequential.
Yeah, who would care?
Who would care about
agree.
who they are if he's dead? Like, it wouldn't matter anymore, so I don't think that he's dead. They've spent the whole season and, like, very end of the last season
Making him a badass.
making him a badass and, like, the hero of the story. I don't think he's dead.
Alright, see,
And it would actually be a twist for Game of Thrones to bring someone important back.
I think that Jon Snow did feel like kind of the centerpiece of this season.
Yeah.
And honestly, he was, one of my favorite characters for sure this season. I was really impressed how they got me to care so little about him until this season.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he was my favorite. Granted, it may be because they killed off all my other favorite characters.
That's possible.
But
That's possible.
by default, he was awesome. I hope they bring him back. Because I know for sure Rob is not coming back, and neither is Ned. His head's on a spike. And in case you don't know, guys, there's a difference between those zombie guys and the White Walkers that we saw. The zombie guys, they're actually called whites. They're like just zombies that are mindless creatures controlled by the White Walkers.
Raised from the dead.
But White Walkers are like the intelligent ones that make sense and can be only killed through Valyrian steel or dragon glass.
Can we talk about episode 9, Daenerys getting on her fucking dragon?
No, we cannot. Yes, episode 9.
That was one of my favorite moments of the entire show.
I agree.
That was so
Seeing
cool.
her ride off on it, it was like, damn, she actually now has control.
Yeah, and her dragons actually did something.
And
Even though it's acting like Charizard at the end of the season.
what I liked is that it showed you that the dragons have a respect for her. They may not listen to her every time, but if she's actually in life-threatening peril, they will come.
To be fair, though, that was Drogon, who has not been in the cage, put there by her. And so he's been free to roam and grow himself. We haven't seen the ones that were in the cage since the early on portion of the season, so we don't know really what's going on with them, the ones that are in the cage.
Yeah, the other two, I think, they're definitely going to be smaller because they're not out and about. I don't think that they're going to, like, betray her, so to speak, but I think that she's going to have to earn their trust back.
I still think Bran's gonna come back and control them.
I agree that he's going to come back and control the dragon, though. That's
I mean,
because he said the guy that he met within that like bush fort thing said you will never walk again, but you will fly. That was like the most obvious clue ever.
I knew as soon as he could control animals that he was going to control a dragon. Because if you could control animals, you would control the coolest fucking animal that you could find. And in the world of Game of Thrones, please tell me a cooler animal than a fucking dragon.
I can't think of a cooler animal in, like, real life.
Anyway,
Real life big
Dragons are just kind of like the upper echelon of animals.
Do we think Arya's dead? I don't think so.
No, I think she's just blind now.
I think she's blind.
Yeah, I don't think she's dead.
I don't think that they would kill her off after building her character so much. Like, I understand they kill a lot of people off in Game of Thrones, but it's after really they've established who they are. Arya hasn't been established who she is yet.
They never definitively showed her.
Yeah,
as a
usually
dead
when Game
character
of
yet.
Thrones character is dead, you see blood, you see the head
Shit's
chopped
dead.
off, you see them burning alive, like they're dead. Another badass thing about the season was Tyrion reaching Daenerys.
I mean, one of my favorite scenes in this season was when he talked to Daenerys and he gave her advice on things that she, in her heart, realized were true.
She couldn't
And
deny them.
So she had to just go with them and say, you know what? You're actually a really smart advisor.
That scene between Daenerys and Tyrion was my favorite scene of the entire show.
Not even just a season?
Not even just the season, of the entire show. I thought that was the most satisfying, gratifying synonyms of the entire show.
It was just very interesting to watch.
Quite, yes.
Yeah.
My second favorite scene was almost when Jon Snow brought his friend to recruit all of the wildlings.
Oh yeah.
And then
Shit goes down.
the head wildling was like, let's gather the elders. And then the guy was like, oh no, you paired and you allied with the crows. And then he starts talking and he's like midway through an insult, and then the head wildling just hits him in the gut, takes his staff and beats him over the head, and then says
To death.
To death. And it
to
was
death. And then just gets up and says, gather the elders. And then he just walks off and everybody just looks at him, doesn't do a thing. They're just like,
all right.
gather the elders.
The fucking gather the elders,
Whoa.
guys.
Squad!
It was fucking hilarious.
Oh god. You know, one of the things we haven't really touched on though much is Sansa.
True, she's finally standing up for herself. Damn.
Thea
Like,
is no
Yeah.
longer Reek.
Reek.
you could tell once Sansa showed up that his weakness level just dropped like a whole
His
thing.
weakness level.
It's just, he said,
His lackey level.
he went from I am Reek to
I think
I'm
I'm
mostly Reek.
Yeah, and he fucking pushed the crazy girl over the cliff.
I'm so glad she died.
I'm so glad.
How are you gonna like be that much in love with someone who you know is just fucking batshit crazy?
Because she's batshit crazy. They can be batshit crazy, make batshit crazy children together.
There's
I think
no-
Ramsay's very close to being as bad as Joffrey. I think he just doesn't have quite the power, because he's not like the king of Westeros, to be as bad as Joffrey.
I honestly think his tortures are definitely worse. Not even probably. They're definitely
Let's
worse.
say, the worst thing he did was torture Theon, right? That whole torturing thing. But then fucking Joffrey showed her dad's head on a spike. That's pretty bad too.
I think Joffrey was still a little worse, but only because, like you said, he had the means to be worse.
I would have gone through all of Joffrey's tortures before I go through any of Ramsay's. Joffrey's punishments were like an arrow to the chest. And, you know, that sucks, but everybody gets impaled in Game of Thrones. Not everybody has their bones pulled out through their skin. Your finger split open and then bone pulled out through it? That was like the worst scene in the world to me. It was disgusting. It just like hurt me to watch.
I've got goosebumps.
I don't want to talk about torture anymore.
yeah,
though.
I'm over it. We're over it.
I think we can just stick with Ramsay sucks balls.
All of them.
Man, I hate Ramsay.
Yeah, he sucks.
Another thing from
Just
the finale.
kidding. I don't hate Ramsay. I love him. Definitely do not
What?
kill him or hurt him.
I would hate for
Please.
Ramsay to never be on the show again.
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
he's definitely my favorite character.
I hope nothing bad ever happens to him ever, Mr. Martin. Even though the beginning of season 5 started off pretty boring,
And slow.
it actually ended up being a very good ending.
Yeah, we finally got a little bit of taste of what winter's going to be like when it does come. They gave enough answers to questions that we had to satisfy us, so hold us off for a little bit. Not a whole year, they take a year to do it, which is absurd. But they also left enough open-ended stuff that even people who have read the books don't know where it's going to go exactly.
There was a lot of character development that we didn't get for some of the characters in the previous season.
They made a lot of the less interesting characters from previous seasons more interesting, like Sansa and particularly Jon Snow.
Mainly because they killed all the other interesting characters out.
Alright guys, if you like this video, go ahead and hit subscribe, hit like, share it with your friends, and we'll have new videos coming up soon. Media Men signing off.
Whoop whoop!
Woo! Subscribe!